I hid the medicine for myself while my brother writhed beside me. His fever burned through 3 nights while I counted pills in the dark, calculating how many days they could buy me. I watched him shake and sweat and call for our mother, and I pressed the metal box deeper into my pocket, feeling each tablet through the thin tin like 30 pieces of silver. This is my last entry. By morning, I will have no brother and no soul worth saving. The journal trembles in the archivist's hands. Leningrad State Archive, October 2019. Personal Effects Collection, Box 1942 to 3847. Discovered inside the lining of a military coat donated by an estate sale. The pages smell of iodine and shame. Don't let these voices disappear. Subscribe now to help us uncover more forbidden stories from the archives of silence. The entry continues, each word carved into the page with desperate precision. I need to write this while I still have the strength to hold the pen, while Viktor's breathing still rattles in the corner of our makeshift ward. Mother, if this journal ever reaches you, know that your eldest son died not from typhus but from his brother's cowardice. I had enough sulfanilamide tablets for both of us, maybe, definitely enough for one. In that maybe lived a choice, and I chose myself. I chose to breathe while he suffocates on his own fever. I chose to walk home to you while he rots in foreign soil. I chose Mother. God help me, I chose. The handwriting deteriorates as the confession deepens, as if the writer's soul was dissolving with each admission. Private Aleksandr Ivanovich Petrov, 24 years old. His younger brother Viktor, 21. From the village of Sosnovka, outside Leningrad. 2 brothers who had shared everything, until everything came down to a small metal box of white pills. Dr. Marina Fedorova, the archivist who discovered the journal, had to stop reading several times. In 30 years of handling wartime documents, she had never encountered such a raw confession of familial betrayal. The journal itself tells a story beyond words. Water stains that could be tears, blood on the edges from desperate fingers, and that persistent smell of iodine, as if the medicine itself had leaked into the pages, marking them with the scent of salvation denied. To understand this confession, we must first understand the brothers who came to that moment of choice. The journal's earlier entries, dated months before, paint a picture of inseparable siblings. Viktor and I enlisted together, just as we did everything together. Shared a bed until I was 15 and he 12. Shared clothes, shared books, shared dreams of seeing Moscow, Paris, maybe even America after the war. He was always smaller than me, quicker to laugh, quicker to trust. Mother called him her sunshine child. She called me her steady rain. Sasha waters the earth, she would say, but Vitya makes it bloom. Another entry from training camp. Viktor struggles with the rifle, his hands too small for proper grip. I file down the trigger guard in secret, make adjustments. He thinks he's getting better naturally. His pride when he finally qualifies as marksman, worth every blister from the metalwork. We're in this together, I tell him. Together until the end. The end came in a field hospital 60 kilometers from Stalingrad, though hospital dignifies what was essentially a barn with medical pretensions. December 1942. The German advance had been stopped, but typhus advanced unchecked through Soviet ranks. The disease moved through soldiers like fire through dry wood. Fever, rash, delirium, death. Sometimes in that order, sometimes not. The journal describes the progression with clinical horror. Day 1 of Viktor's fever. He jokes that at least he's warm for once. We haven't been warm since October. I give him my blanket. Tell him it's because he's always been the weak one. Needs coddling. He laughs, then coughs. The cough sounds wet. Day 2. The rash appears on his chest, spreading like spilled wine on a tablecloth. He's delirious by evening, calling for Mother, for Katya, his girl from the village. For me. I'm right here, I tell him. Right here, little brother. Day 3. The medical officer makes his rounds. 30 seconds per patient. Checks Viktor's eyes, tongue, rash. Typhus, he says, as if we couldn't guess. Keep him hydrated. Pray. Then quieter to me. There's sulfanilamide in the supply room. Not much. Getting more is difficult. He doesn't say impossible, but his eyes do. The supply room, a generous term for a corner cabinet with a broken lock. That night, Aleksandr found 12 tablets in a small metal box marked with a red cross that had mostly worn away. 12 tablets. The recommended course was 20 per person, minimum. 6 per person might work. Or 12 for one person would almost certainly work. I held that box for 3 hours. The journal continues. Just held it, feeling its weight. No heavier than a few coins, but it pulled my hand down like an anchor. Viktor was sleeping or unconscious, hard to tell the difference anymore. His breathing sounded like paper crumpling. I opened the box, counted the pills. 12. Counted again. Still 12. Mathematics doesn't care about brotherhood. I thought about splitting them. 6 each. Russian roulette with microscopic bullets. We both might die. Or we both might live. Or one might live while the other. But which one? Who would God choose? If God was even watching this frozen hell. Then I thought, if I take all 12, I'll definitely survive. I can help Mother. I can take care of Viktor's girl, make sure she's provided for. I can tell his story, make him a hero. I can do so much good if I live. And Viktor was always weaker. The fever already had 3 days head start. Even with 6 pills, he might not make it. Why waste medicine on might not? The next passage is barely legible, written in darkness. I took the first pill an hour ago. Bitter, like eating chalk mixed with accusations. Viktor stirred when I swallowed, as if he could hear betrayal in my throat. I have 11 pills left. Still enough to share. Still time to be a brother. But I won't. God help me, I won't. I've made my choice, and now I have to live with it. Live. That's the word. Isn't it? I get to live. These testimonies from the past must not be silenced. If this story moves you, subscribe to support our mission to reveal the untold truths of war. The journal then reveals the systematic nature of the betrayal. I've become an expert at deception. When the medical officer asks about Viktor, I say he's the same. When Viktor, in his lucid moments, asks about medicine, I tell him there is none, that we're waiting for supplies. I even act out searching for pills, checking other patients' beds, begging the nurses. Viktor watches me with those fever-bright eyes and says, "Thank you for trying, Sasha. You're a good brother." Those words burn worse than any fever. A good brother. I count my remaining pills in the dark. 10, 9, 8. Each one I swallow is a nail in his coffin. But I swallow them anyway. One every 12 hours, like the medical book says. I'm very careful about the timing. Very precise. I want to make sure they work. The entries become more fragmented, jumping between past and present. Remember when we were boys, Viktor? 7 and 10, stealing apples from Farmer Kozlov's orchard? You fell from the tree, broke your wrist. I carried you 3 miles home on my back. You whispered jokes in my ear the whole way to keep my spirits up, even through the pain. Why did the apple fall? Because it saw us coming and died of fright. We laughed until Mother scolded us both. I saved you then. I could save you now. The pills are in my pocket, right here, inches from your burning hand. But I don't. I can't. I won't. Which is it? All 3? None? The fever I'm preventing clouds my thinking? Or maybe it's the other fever, the one that burns souls instead of bodies. A particularly devastating passage addresses Viktor directly. You're talking to Father now. Father's been dead 6 years, but you're having a conversation about the harvest. You're 8 years old in your mind, helping him thresh wheat. You keep saying, "I'm strong enough, Papa. Let me help." Sasha doesn't have to do everything. Even in delirium, you're trying to prove yourself. Even dying, you're fighting for your place. And here I am, fully conscious, counting pills like a miser counts gold. Who's the strong one now, little brother? Who's helping whom? The physical description of Viktor's deterioration is interspersed with memories. His hands are so thin now, I can see every bone, every vein. These hands that could juggle 4 apples at once, that could tie the most complex fishing knots, that held mine when we walked to school on my first day, proud to show off his big brother. Now they clutch at nothing, grasping air as if trying to catch something invisible. Maybe he's trying to catch his life as it floats away. I want to grab his hands, press pills into them, say, "Here, take these live." But I take another pill myself instead. 7 left. The journal reveals a moment of near confession. Viktor woke fully lucid today, looked right at me. "Sasha," he said, "am I dying?" I should have said yes, should have said goodbye, should have given him the dignity of truth. Instead I said, "No, you're getting better. The fever's breaking." He smiled, that trusting smile that hasn't changed since he was 3. "Good," he said, "because I promised Mother we'd come home together. Remember? We spit on our palms and shook hands." We did. August 15th, 1941, at the train station, our spit-sworn oath. Brothers together always. I still have 6 pills. 6 chances to keep that promise. But promises weigh less than pills, apparently. An entry dated December 18th, 3 a.m. I've started hallucinating. Not from fever, but from guilt. I see 2 Viktors now. One dying in the corner. One standing beside my bed, healthy, watching me with disappointment. "You were supposed to protect me," the healthy Viktor says. "I'm the little brother. You're supposed to protect me. I want to explain about the mathematics, about probability, about the greater good. But you can't explain mathematics to a ghost, even one that hasn't finished dying yet." The journal contains a prayer, or what passes for prayer in extremity. "God, if you're listening, but why would you be? What God watches this and stays silent? But if you are, know that I tried to be good. For 24 years I tried. I shared my food, my clothes, my strength. I carried my brother literally and figuratively. Doesn't that count for something? Can't 24 years of brotherhood buy me one moment of selfishness? No? Then damn you. Damn you for making us choose. Damn you for creating a world where love and survival are enemies. And damn me for choosing survival." A later passage reveals the final pills. 3 left. Viktor hasn't spoken in 2 days. His breathing sounds like wind through broken glass. The medical officer doesn't even stop at his bed anymore. Everyone knows except Viktor. Or maybe he knows too. Maybe behind those closed eyes, he's counting my pills, watching me swallow his life. 2 left. I could still... No, it's too late. Even if I gave them to him now, they wouldn't work. That's what I tell myself. That's the mathematics I use to justify becoming Cain. 1 left. This last pill tastes like victory and ashes. I've won. I've survived. I'll walk out of here on my own legs, go home, tell Mother that Viktor died bravely, that I did everything possible. And part of that will even be true. I did everything possible to save myself. The December 20th entry, the last. Viktor died at 4:17 this morning. I know the exact time because I was watching. I've been watching for 3 days, unable to sleep, unable to look away. He didn't go peacefully like they say in stories. He fought. His body convulsed, his hands clawed at his throat, his eyes opened wide, seeing something terrible. Maybe me, maybe truth, maybe nothing. Then stillness. A stillness so complete it seemed to fill the room, the world, the universe. The stillness of a promise broken. A brotherhood ended. A soul sold for 12 pills. The confession becomes almost incoherent with grief. I tried to close his eyes, but they won't stay shut. They keep opening, staring at me. The medical officer says it's just muscle contraction, happens sometimes. But I know better. Viktor won't let me forget. Even dead, he's the better brother, making sure I remember what I've done. I have his effects to send home. His watch, still ticking, the bastard thing. His letters from Katia. His notebook where he wrote poems no one knew about. Poems about home, about love, about his big brother who could do anything, fix anything, save anyone. Lies, all lies. I saved myself. That's what I do, what I did, what I am. A survivor, not a brother. The final paragraphs form a letter within the journal. Mother, I'm writing this knowing I'll never send it. How could I? How do I tell you that your sunshine child is dead because your steady rain chose to fall only on himself? How do I say that I had the medicine, held it in my hand like holding Viktor's life, and chose to let it go? You'll get the official letter, died of typhus, served with honor, a hero of the Soviet Union. All true except for the part where I could have saved him. That part will die with me, except it won't. It'll live forever, eating me from inside like the typhus I prevented. I'll come home, mother, alone. I'll tell you Viktor's last words were of you, of home, of love. But his last words were actually, Sasha, it's so cold. And I, counting my last pills, pulled my blanket tighter and said nothing. Don't let these forbidden truths disappear. Subscribe now to ensure these voices from the archives continue to be heard. The journal's final entry. This is my last writing. Tomorrow they're moving us out, those who survived. I'll burn this journal or bury it or carry it forever. I haven't decided. The metal pill box is still in my pocket. Empty now, but somehow heavier. I thought it would get lighter as I took each pill, but weight doesn't work that way. Neither does guilt. Neither does brotherhood. Viktor is being buried in a mass grave with 17 others who died this week. No marker, just coordinates I'm supposed to remember. 54 degrees 31 minutes north, 38 degrees 14 minutes east. Numbers. Everything comes down to numbers. 12 pills. 2 brothers. 1 survivor. 0 humans. Because what survived isn't human anymore. It's just a thing that looks like Aleksandr Petrov, sounds like him, moves like him, but inside is hollow except for the echo of pills rattling in a metal box. A note, added in different ink, possibly years later. I made it home. Mother cried with joy, then cried with grief. She keeps asking how Viktor died. Was he in pain? Was I with him? Yes, I say to the last question. I was with him, right there. Close enough to touch, close enough to save, close enough to watch him die. She thinks I'm a good son for staying with him. The whole village thinks I'm tragic, the brother who survived. They don't know I'm the brother who survived because I counted pills instead of sharing them. Because I chose arithmetic over love. Because when the test came, I failed it 12 times, 1 pill at a time. Dr. Fedorova later discovered that Aleksandr Petrov lived until 1987. He never married, never had children. He worked as a bookkeeper in a state factory, numbers, always numbers. His neighbors described him as quiet, helpful, but strange. He would never accept food from anyone, never share meals, and was once seen throwing away a full bottle of medicine rather than taking it. Allergic to pills, he told people. The truth was simpler and infinitely more complex. He could never swallow another pill without tasting betrayal. The metal box was found with the journal, tucked into the coat lining. Scratched into its surface, barely visible, are 2 initials. VP, Viktor Petrov, the brother who didn't get the medicine but left his mark anyway. Inside the box now, nothing but rust and the ghost of 12 pills that bought one life with another. The village of Sosnovka no longer exists, evacuated in the 1960s for a reservoir project. The graves from the war, including the mass grave at coordinates 54 degrees 31 minutes north, 38 degrees 14 minutes east, lie beneath 30 feet of water. Viktor Petrov's body feeds fish now, while his brother's confession feeds our understanding of what war does to the arithmetic of love. There's a photograph tucked into the journal's back cover. 2 young men in new uniforms, arms around each other's shoulders, grinning at the camera. On the back, in fading pencil, Sasha and Vitya, August 1941, together forever. The word forever has been crossed out and replaced with until the pills ran out. Then that too has been crossed out, replaced with nothing. Some truths don't need words. The journal teaches us that survival isn't always victory, that medicine can be poison if swallowed with betrayal, that the arithmetic of war, 12 pills, 2 brothers, 1 survivor, never quite balances. It reminds us that every war crime isn't committed on battlefields. Some happen in the dark, 1 pill at a time, witnessed only by conscience and God, if God bothers watching anymore. Dr. Fedorova keeps the journal in a special section of the archive, away from the heroic narratives and patriotic accounts. She calls it the Shadow Collection, Documents that show what people don't want to remember about survival. When asked why she preserves such painful testimonies, she says, "Because someone needs to know that heroes and cowards can inhabit the same body, that love and selfishness can coexist in the same heart, that sometimes the greatest enemy isn't across the battlefield but in the mirror, counting pills." In the margins of one page, written so small it requires magnification to read, Viktor would have shared the pills. Without counting, without calculating. He would have given me 7 and taken 5 for himself, pretending the math was equal. That's who he was. That's who I killed. Not with hands or weapons but with arithmetic and fear. 12 minus 12 equals 0, brothers. The smell of iodine still clings to the pages, 7 decades later, as if the medicine itself refuses to let go, marking the document with the scent of what could have been. Each page carries the weight of those 12 pills, distributed not between 2 brothers but across time. Each reader forced to swallow the question, what would I have done? There's no answer in the archive. No moral resolution filed under correct choices, wartime, familial. There's only the journal, the empty pill box, and the photograph of 2 brothers who swore to come home together. One did, but he came home as someone else, a survivor who learned that the price of survival can be higher than the cost of death. The barn that served as a field hospital was destroyed in fighting 2 months after these events. No plaque marks where brothers made choices, where pills were counted, where one survived by ensuring another didn't. Just empty field now, wheat growing where cots once stood, where fever burned, where mathematics trumped love. But in the archive, Aleksandr's confession waits. It speaks to everyone who's ever faced an impossible choice, everyone who's ever wondered what they're capable of in extremity, everyone who thinks they know their own moral boundaries. The journal says, you don't know. You can't know. Until you're holding the pills and counting them, you can't know if you're Aleksandr or Viktor, if you're the one who shares or the one who counts, if you're the brother who dies or the brother who dies inside. The last line of the journal, written along the margin as if in afterthought, I saved myself. God forgive me, I saved myself. And in saving myself, I lost everything worth saving. This is followed by a medical inventory, written in different ink, 12 sulfanilamide tablets, taken as prescribed, patient recovered, treatment successful. The clinical language makes the betrayal sharper. Treatment successful. 2 words that mean one brother walks away while another doesn't. 2 words that mean survival and damnation. 2 words that echo across decades. Successful at what cost? At the bottom of the page, barely visible, as if written with a dying pen. Viktor, if there's an afterlife and you're reading over God's shoulder, know this. The pills worked. I lived. I came home. I grew old. And every single day was punishment. Every breath I took was stolen from you. Every heartbeat was borrowed from your chest. I lived your life as well as mine, and neither was worth living. The medicine saved my body but killed everything else. You died of typhus. I died of arithmetic. We're both casualties. The only difference is they buried you with honor. The metal pill box sits in the archive now, displayed beside the journal. Visitors often ask if they can hold it. Dr. Fedorova allows it, watching as they invariably open it, checking for pills that were swallowed 77 years ago. Everyone checks. Everyone counts. Everyone wonders what 12 divided by 2 really equals. 6 each, a visitor might say. Or 12 for 1, another suggests. Or 0 for both if they don't work, adds a third. The arithmetic of survival. The mathematics of betrayal. The calculus of brotherhood dissolved in fever and fear. The box is empty, but it rattles anyway. Some say it's just the lid loose with age. Others insist they hear pills, 12 of them, clicking against metal, counting themselves over and over, waiting for someone to divide them properly this time. In the archive log, Dr. Fedorova has written, Personal Journal of A.I. Petrov, containing account of medical supplies allocation during typhus outbreak, December 1942. Donated anonymously. Significant historical value for understanding individual moral choices under extreme duress. Note: The smell of iodine persists despite professional preservation efforts. Also note, VP mentioned throughout did not survive. See casualty lists, Stalingrad sector, December 1942. Final note, 12 pills. Still counting. The journal closes with Alexander's last words. Though he lived 45 more years, I hid the medicine for myself while my brother writhed beside me. This is my last entry. By morning, I will have no brother and no soul. The pills are gone, swallowed, dissolved, doing their work in my blood while Viktor's blood cools. I am cured. I am alive. I am dead. I am 12 pills shaped like a man, walking home alone. The metal box catches light from the archive's fluorescent bulbs, glinting like a bitter star, like a medal for surviving at all costs, like 30 pieces of silver compressed into tablet form. Such objects don't forget. They wait. They remind. They ask everyone who passes, "What's your price? How many pills? Which brother are you?" I hid the medicine while my brother writhed. I counted 12 paths to survival and chose the only one that led through betrayal. This is my last entry as a human being. Tomorrow I become something else. A survivor, which is just another word for the brother who didn't share. Such words don't fade. They burn across decades, asking anyone who reads them. 12 pills, 2 brothers, 1 box. What's your arithmetic? The silence that follows has no answer. Only the ghost of rattling pills, counting themselves in the dark, dividing and redividing, never quite adding up to brotherhood. Such words don't fade with time.